In this video, we'll be discussing about the decorators in Python. Decorators, it's one of the advanced concepts in Python. Decorators are basically functions or classes that act as wrappers to modify your existing functions. It basically takes functions as an argument and returns a replacement function. So imagine this particular tractor right here. So this tractor consists of multiple accessories. And even though the tractor connects to all these accessories, it's always a tractor, right? When the accessories are removed. So decorators in Python is more like these accessories lying around the tractor, and consider this tractor to be your main function. So the activity done by your particular function can be altered based on the accessories getting attached to the tractor. Now let's have a look at a basic skeleton of how a decorator looks like, and let's understand how the decorator works. Now that we have an understanding of what a decorator is, let me show you how we can create a decorator. So we create a class, call this my decorator or whatever the name you wish to create, and we have the constructor. So basically the constructor takes in the argument as the function, and we assign that to self.f, and we initialize a call method. So in this call method, we'll be having the logic some code before the function gets executed. Then we also have some code right after the function gets executed. Now, so right after that, we include the function itself. Now, all built-in method takes in whenever the function gets initialized or the object is getting created, the call method is called by default. So we pass in the args and keyword args. So each and every function takes in its own args and keyword args. So we pass in those. The function that we are about to pass to the decorator, looks like this. It's basically a function. So let's have it like this. So we are about to pass in message 1 and message 2. This is going to return message 1 concatenated to message 2. So this is going to be our output, and we are about to decorate this particular function. And how do we do that? We use the syntactic sugar, my decorator, and returns message 1 and message 2 split by a space. So let's understand what's happening here. So we have a decorator right here. The name of the decorator is the name of the class that I have over here, and I have a function over here with the arguments message 1 and message 2. When the decorator gets initialized, it automatically takes in the function which is the f as the my function over here. And so when I pass in and I initialize this particular function, two things happen here. One is, the decorator gets initialized. This component is done since the object gets created. There's one more activity that's happening here, which is, When I call this particular function, basically the call method inside the decorator, it gets executed, taking in the arguments hello and world. So this basically returns, so I can give a return statement like some output, and I can return this particular output. So when I give something like print of my function, and this whole snippet gets executed, my output would be something like hello space world. So this is how it basically works. So two things to note. One is, so when the function gets initialized, the init function of the decorator gets initialized, and when we pass in the arguments, and when we call the function, automatically this call built-in method gets executed. Imagine the function of this decorator is to log some output, right? So you have multiple other functions for testing, and you wish to log the activities whenever each and every function gets executed. You don't really have to call the method every time, passing in the arguments, writing those statements manually. Instead, what you can actually do is you can call this particular decorator before having your line function executed. So there are two uses of decorators, right? To improve your code readability, to make your code look cleaner and more readable. Another one is to extend the functionality. So think of it more like a feature toggle. You're writing some sort of test and you wish to evaluate some of the test cases, right? You can toggle it based on creating decorators for each and every individual test cases. You can execute common tests again and again using the decorators. And this will make your code more readable and make it more functional as well.